Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Ladies and gents, home Casual and this is 10 horrible ways animals can end you, part 2 I guess, by the channel Casual Geographic. Yeah, so half portion of this yesterday. If you haven't seen them, I guess, check out the link in the description. It's gonna be there. Yeah, this has been terrifying so far. I've been learning about the animals that I didn't know about before, but damn, and especially this thing that he uses as a transition photo. It's a hippo with a black mouth. I hope this is a fake, because that is why is it terrifying so? Not to mention the teeth, but then again it's not that far different from the original hippo, but it's terrifying because it's black. I don't know why. Yeah, so far it has been horrible, especially the sloth bear. I mean, if you have to battle tiger every day, basically you would be psychotic too, so it's understandable. So let's watch this one. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. 75% of you who watches my video regularly are not subscribed, so just hit the subscribe button. That way you'll know when I upload the next video. YouTube doesn't send much of notification, let's just say. It has mind of its own. I uploaded the 3 video just moments ago, and one of the video didn't send out the notification, even though first 3 videos should send it out. I don't know. So I don't know why that happened, but yeah, follow me on Twitter. There I'll be tweeting every time I upload a video, so by that you'll know it. So yeah, let's watch it.
Because when you're one of the few animals that'll actively hunt humans, you're guaranteed a spot. Thanks to global warming, most of the polar bear's hunting range is now underwater. A desperate polar bear will even attempt to go after walruses, even though walruses can one-shot them with those tusks. But a starving bear will resort to putting humans on the list if they get the chance. A polar bear is like a maxed out bloodhound. They can smell a seal from a mile away, and they can even track its scent through 3 feet of ice.
That eye is somehow terrifying with this angle.
Which is why it's been said, if you see this Caucasian carnivore in the wild, it's already too late. There's a good chance the bear's been hunting you for hours or even longer. This is Tim Jarvis, and during an expedition in the Arctic, he was allegedly stalked by a polar bear for a total of 10 days. Now add the fact that they can outswim every heat at the Olympics, and sprint fast enough to get a ticket in a school zone, and you'll see why getting on this ice killer's radar is a death sentence. Remember how African wild dogs tear into their prey while it's still alive? Bears are just XXL dogs that'll usually clamp their jaws on the prey's back to disable it. And the back is usually where they start eating from, with the intestines being one of the first things to get pulled out. Also, polar bears are estimated to have a bite force of about 1,200 pounds per square inch, believed to be strong enough to crack a bowling ball. And if one paw swipes your back, at best you'll be a paraplegic, at worst you'll be a hashtag. And at least sloth bears attack out of self-defense. When a polar bear puts someone on the news, you can be sure it was 100% premeditated. And the worst part of it all is that normally polar bears wouldn't see humans as happy meals. They prefer the fat, nutrient-rich seal. But because of what we've done to their hood, now a polar bear doesn't even need to see you or hear you. If you're a mile downwind of a starving polar bear, that could really be all it takes. Remember the rule of thumb: if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, best get on the ground. If it's white like the president, you finna be heaven sent.
That works in every ranges, whether it's animals or humans.
The African wilderness has some of the most vicious and violent predators on the planet. Some of them we've actually already talked about. So it says a lot that out of all of them, the one nicknamed Black Death is actually a vegetarian. The African Cape Buffalo race is about 200—
Oh, I'm sorry, that clip was just perfect. Holy shit, one lion got attacked by a vicious hyenas, and then every other lion just gang came back, and hyenas ran back as they should, because pack of hyena is terrifying, but pack of lion would definitely overpower them. This is just too good.
The African wilderness.
Look at that. All the hyenas like, come here. The lion like, hey, where my homies at? And they arrive after that.
Has some of the most vicious and violent predators on the planet. Some of them we've actually already talked about. So it says a lot that out of all of them, the one nicknamed Black Death is actually a vegetarian. The African Cape Buffalo erases about 200 names from the census each year. That's not counting the people that live but still get severely gored. They're also strong enough to ragdoll top tiers like lions, hyenas, and of course, people. Those horns aren't just for intimidation. When a Cape buffalo charges, the hooked end of its horns can get caught under the skin and tear apart the flesh of a predator or a tourist that just doesn't know any better. Of course, at 1,300 pounds, they don't need horns to end you. They can easily just trample you into a chalk outline. But there's another thing about them that makes them not only a walking obituary, but earned them another nickname, the Widowmaker. Cause one of the fastest ways to get a divorce is to tell your husband to go hunt a Cape buffalo, cause then you'll probably go to bed single. And that's cause this Widowmaker is one of the most vengeful animals on earth. A wounded
I'm sorry, there are many names you could have given it. But if you give it a name Widowmaker, you know it's serious, right? Because you don't just give something like Widowmaker to just anything. Even in the games, whenever somebody uses Widowmaker name, it's something badass.
A buffalo will often retreat and hide in tall grass or brush. Now, if the hunter has more than one brain cell, he'll usually just give up and leave the beast alone. But if you make the mistake of following the injured animal, then you run the risk of getting ambushed and knocked clear into the ground. And after hitting you, the Cape buffalo will just back up and wait for you to get back on your feet just so they can hit stick you again. They'll keep doing this until you just stop getting up. That's
okay, I would never imagine something like a buffalo, this type of thing, bull buffalo, whatever, anything like this would stalk somebody by hiding under the grass. If I see something like that, I would be stunned for a second. Like, what the fuck? They do that? Come on.
Just what one can do to you. These guys can travel in hoods of up to 200. And these herds will often circle a possible threat, leaving no possibility for escape.
Look at that,
and they'll
king
just
of the
keep
jungle,
circling
my
until
ass.
one eventually sees an opening and attempts to impale you. And the same rules apply. If you're still moving, they're not finished.
King of the jungle, I guess that was when the revolution hit.
That kind of attitude is why lions cosplay as house cats when a herd of buffalo is involved. And why hunting one should come with a life insurance package. And out of the entire starting lineup known as the African Big Five, these murder cows are considered to be the biggest threat. But ironically, one of the most feared mammals on the entire continent isn't on this list.
Oh wait a minute, there are numbers, I didn't even see them.
Yeah,
Just
no
third.
suspense here. Hippos are just waterproof horses with a sender's address from hell. Hippos put about 500 names in Twitter bios a year, and that number is probably higher. They're famous for choosing violence with anything in their territory, from antelope and crocodile, all the way to lions, humans, and literally everything else. Like if you have a pulse, they'll find a reason to hate you. In fact, the biggest threat to a hippo's way of life is very literally often another hippo. Because oftentimes when resources are low, bull hippos will see babies as competition and will turn the adorable infants into fish food. Here's a dark joke for you. Where did the baby hippo go after the baby shower? Everywhere. He went everywhere. Despite being the third heaviest.
There's always a video, or more than once in a video, where you hear certain type of animals hunt their own kids. Like, what the fuck? See, this is why I have more respect for hyenas now after learning how they take care of their own kids.
On the planet with legs, hippos can run at speeds of 30 miles per hour. And they can outswim you, or technically outrun, because hippos don't swim, they literally run underwater. And I don't think that makes this video any better. But just like actress Tiana Trump, it's that mouth that makes them infamous. Bull hippos have tusks that can max out at 20 inches long, and it can slam their jaws at nearly 2,000 pounds of force. But if you've ever seen one eat a watermelon...
Okay, I'm sorry, what the fuck? This guy is loosely giving the hippo the watermelon, while hippo is just moving the hand around. Just at the wrong angle, he could have lost his arm. Look at this.
Inches long, and it can slam their jaws
look at that. He just put that watermelon at an angle. His hand is clearly inside his mouth by then.
Nearly 2,000 pounds.
What the fuck is that? Look at that. What if it just suddenly clamped down there? I would not. Why would you be in this?
Pounds of force. But if you've ever seen one eat a watermelon, you already knew that. Which is why the biggest mistake a croc can make is pull up to a hippo pool party, because it can end up getting turned into a purse. And the biggest mistake a person can make is getting too close. I hope this is photoshopped. Yeah. Hippos are one of those animals that don't need a reason to turn you into a statistic.
It is a Photoshop, because no way in hell this guy is brave enough that hippo is that close and trying to save her. No way. He's like, oh, she's dead. If this was real, he was like, oh, she's dead. Let's get out of here.
Statistic. Hippos don't typically eat meat, but their attack style involves using that massive overbite and chewing a person into human applesauce. And it's the attacks in water that are the most brutal. Even if you survive, the toll for crossing hippo territory can cost an arm, a leg, multiple broken bones, and even a punctured lung or two. One tourist guide in Zimbabwe was allegedly swallowed by this land whale not once, but 3 times. And you want to know the worst thing about getting deep-throated by this obese demon donkey? Other than the smell. It's knowing that your options are to either stay inside and suffocate, or try to escape and end up negotiating your left arm in the process. As for the tourist guide, by the time he got out, he had suffered 38 bite wounds, including one so nasty it exposed his lungs and completely crushed one of his arms. This man rescued an orphan baby hippo from a flood and raised him as his own. He even named it Humphrey and said it was like a son to him. Well, Humphrey ended up mauling and mutilating his foster father in the same river he was rescued from. That's honestly how most movies with hippos end. But at least hippos are so massive they're
Yeah, I still don't get why people think it's okay to pet predators. They think I'll be the cool one. I'll be the one that they show in one of the Bond films or something, older Bond films, where they are walking around with lions and tigers, for fuck's sake. Look, never pet predators. That's what it is. Would you ever pet, I don't know, would you ever keep a wolf in your house? You can't. If you tried, they would basically stop you, because wolf basically sees you as a food. Once they start growling, people basically runs away. Even if it's fucking, somebody tamed that wolf, right? There's a trainer there. Even the trainer would tell you, like, fuck off. And it just growled. Even I can contain it if you don't fuck off. You can't keep predators and try, oh, look at that, I rescued this fucking, hippo, and I basically keep him around. Yeah, it's gonna kill your whole family, you imbecile.
Possible to miss. The next animal is the size of a golf ball, but could turn 26 people into a very loaded story on CNN.
Something with venom, I guess?
The blue ring octopus is a lot of things. Tiny, cute, and it's one of the most venomous things alive. It's armed with a neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin, and the lethal dose for a human could fit on the head of a pin. Plenty of animals are venomous in Australia, from the jellyfish right down to the peries. But there's one disturbing fact about blue ring octopus. The blue ring octopus is so small that most people don't even realize when they've been bitten. And because they're so small and cute, some people will put the octopus in their hands, not realizing they're putting their lives in the octopus's. Because not only
see, this is why whenever somebody thinks, oh, let's travel the different countries, go to Australia, go to Europe, let's go to the beach and check all the different wildlife and fishes. You're gonna die with something that you have no knowledge about. I never understand that shit. I'm okay with traveling, but that kind of adventure mentality, that's just gonna bite you in the ass. If you're gonna have some kind of a infection that will fuck you up, or something will bite you that basically you won't even know it until you're dead, like something like this. And this octopus is glowing blue somehow, not glowing, bright blue colors. So I guess it evolved in a way that it knows that it has a massive strong venom, so it's this bright colorful because it wants the predators to find it so it can kill it. There's some next level shit. Different animals have camouflage and things like that just to blend in. This thing doesn't want to blend in. That's next level.
Only is tetrodotoxin 10,000 times more powerful than cyanide, the neurotoxin shuts down muscles by blocking sodium channels. This decision can lead to muscle paralysis, respiratory failure, cardiac arrest, and then a permanent rest. Which is why one of the smallest animals on this list can turn you into past tense in as little as 30 minutes. And remember, you don't feel when this blue ring Bundy bites you, meaning you can hold it like this for 3 seconds and then flatline in the same hour. And if you're swimming while that paralysis hits, use your imagination. Oh, and there's no antidote. All medical professionals can do is hook you up to a respirator and manage your breathing just long enough to keep you alive. But with immediate medical attention, the chances of getting put in a casket by this blue ring hellspawn are actually pretty low. But with a bite that's impossible to feel, it's very possible to not realize you've been wounded. And without medical attention, the chance of your soul getting evicted suddenly becomes a lot higher. Which means this lady just barely Eurostep becoming a name on a stone in one of the worst ways possible. Cause anything that tries this hard to be seen is probably more toxic than future. That goes for octopus and people.
The number one, okay.
This last one deserves its own viewer discretion warning because in some ways it's the most disturbing animal on this list.
Come on.
Not only does it have the highest human body count, you can be a victim and not even realize it. That's because it's believed that over 1 billion people in the world are infected with parasitic worms. They're especially a problem in places with limited access to clean drinking water. But don't think this is just some third world problem. All you have to do is swim in waters containing eggs and you can lose the lottery and become a landlord to these parasites. Once inside you, these worms can cause a bunch of nasty infections and complications, but there's one disease that really stands out. These demonic flesh ropes are filarial worms, and they're as thin as sewing threads. And their favorite hangout spot is in your lymph nodes, where a bunch of them can block fluids from leaving the body, which can cause tissues in the body to swell almost like a disturbing cartoon. Which is how a worm you need a microscope to see can cause a nightmarish condition known as elephantiasis, the situation where your leg can swell to the same size and color as an elephant's. And it doesn't just give you Dumbo-sized cankles. All guidelines will allow me to say is Google South Park wheelbarrow. Get infected with filarials and you might need one. But the unsettling part is you may never know you've been violated by filarials until it's too late. Millions of people around the world are infected.
Oh god, so first of all it can block off certain nodes and things, so it could give you gangrene theoretically if it stops the blood flow, I guess. But then elephantitis, whatever, oh god. So again, I come back to that thing. There was those adventurists who basically just go to different places and do different adventure stuff, take a swim here and there. This is way too dangerous, man. If anybody has any common sense and any common knowledge about how our planet is, any basic scientific knowledge that how our own planet is so hostile to us, nobody would basically become an adventurer and basically go anywhere and just take a swim in any fucking lake or whatever.
And a lot of them have no idea. Which means, of course, statistically, someone watching this video has to have it. If it makes you feel any better, if you live in America, you apparently can't get infected with filarial worms. But you're not safe from the hundreds of other parasites that can turn your insides into an Airbnb. Around the world, hundreds of millions of people are infected with parasitic worms as we speak. And if you happen to be asymptomatic, they can put a whole mortgage down on your body and you would be the last to know. And that's just about it for this video. If you actually enjoyed this video, first of all, you're a psychopath. But also my Patreon's going to be in the description in case you want to support this very questionable content. In fact, you could have watched this video 2 days before I posted it on Patreon. But as always, please don't feel like you have to send money in order to show support. Please feel like you have to subscribe though. I'm not playing with y'all. Subscribe or I'm just going to assume you have worms. Also follow my Instagram, if for no other reason but to help.
Yeah, Amandaya97, okay. Alright, wait a minute, he has only 150,000 followers there, while on YouTube he has 1.5 million. I guess he started, no wait a minute, he started on TikTok, right? So I guess he's more famous on TikTok or something. Alright. First of all, statistics about worms, yeah, that is true, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any, or somebody in my family, because we don't do that kind of a dangerous, adventurous shit, or we don't even eat questionable food while going out. I don't know. I'm very careful, so I would be very surprised if me or my family is infected by anything. But yeah, obviously last thing was horrible because it's a worm that can live inside you. One of the videos just few days ago I reacted, which was one of the most horrible video I watched, was from this channel about worms. The massive worms that could basically go inside of you. Just no. No, especially that thing where women used to infect themselves with worms like that just so they could eat more and not get fat. Just be fat. Just be fat. Fat as a fucking, I don't know, water buffalo or whatever. Just be fat. Worms are not good, man. Well, people, that was 10 horrible ways animals can end you. By the channel Casual Geographics. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards on different places, check out the ink cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.